So we are live again. Fabulous. We are live. So we can answer any questions you could have. Let's see. Awesome. So let's talk about a few things about how EB2 NIWs and new statistics coming up. Let's see. New statistics. There was a government update that was published about the new statistics for the past couple of years about EB1, EB2 trends for 2024. So I wanted to get into that and tell you a little bit about it because the trends have shifted. So let's just go into that. So a few they just mentioned. Let's see. All right, we had some predictions. Let's see what they say. Now, in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, immigration related questions, just put them up and let's talk about them. And pretty much it. Let me look for that link that I wanted to talk about. There was a report published by USCIS recently, a couple of days back. It was in our newsletter. So if you guys are not in our newsletter, please send us your email through the chat and let's add you to the newsletter because I put news out there all the time. So while I'm looking for that link, let's see, somebody asked a question. I submitted all the required documents on December 18, and it was an expedited case, and I'm still waiting. Okay, so you're not telling me anything. What kind of documents for what kind of application, and how do you know it was an expedited case? So give me more information, Mon, and I can try to address that, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to look for that link and still get you guys some answers on that because it wasn't fun. Okay. Let me see. Maybe I'll find the link. So, hi, Tony. All right, guys, put your questions in there so I can address them for you. And while Mon is giving me a little bit more information, I'll try to address some other questions. Okay. So, let's see. All right, good. I'm going to try to find that link. Would be nice if I would find it, but I don't know where it is. So I don't want to bore you to that. So my 2-year anniversary was December the 20th. My 485 has been pending for 10 months. Will I receive the 10 years when approved? Assuming it will be approved, if your green card application, your 485, is based on marriage, and it's going to be decided on after your second anniversary, then yes, you are going to get a 10-year green card. So good job on that. It's hard when I tell sometimes people that having a process that takes a little bit longer, it's actually to your advantage. This is exactly the one example that I really have in mind because it saves you so much time and so much money not have to go through the removal of conditions. And everybody's like, but I want my work permit and I want my green card sooner rather than later. Yeah, but the removal of conditions alone these days takes 4 years, okay? So why would you want to go through that? I'd rather be dealing with a longer processing time and get the 10-year green card and go through this once and not worry about it, right? So good job, Tony, on that. Fabulous. And yes, it's been pending. Doesn't matter. As long as it's been 2 years, you're getting the 10-year green card, assuming you got the approval, okay? I'm still looking for that link. Let's see, maybe we'll find it. Anyway, I did find it. Fabulous. My brother, who's a US citizen, applied for my brother and his family. It's been 14 years. First, it depends on the country. If you tell me more, then I can look into that. But you guys know it goes by the visa bulletin, right? Anything on the visa bulletin for brothers and sisters, it's minimum 16 years. And then you have to add at least 2 years for processing after you started the process. And if you are from Mexico, India, Philippines, or China, it's going to take even longer than that. So you can check on the visa bulletin based on the priority date listed on the I-130, okay? Now you should have the I-130, you should have the receipt, and you should have the approval notice, okay? So assuming you have the approval notice and you have the priority date listed there, you can actually go onto the visa bulletin website and see how much longer just about you would have until you are going to be able to follow the next process, okay? ARWA. N400, after the interview, I received an RFE notice of continuance for taxes and I uploaded. Okay, did you get an RFE or did you get a notice of continuance? Because an RFE gives you 80 something days, a notice of continuance gives you 30. So first, did you upload your response on time? Did they change the status after the upload to acknowledge that you received it? If they didn't, save that screenshot because it's gonna disappear and make sure you prove that you indeed uploaded, okay? If you see that 60 days have passed and the status is still the same, hire a lawyer. Tony, fabulous, you're gonna be okay. Okay. How long it takes to file for your son over 21? Well, did you start the process? Did you not start the process? I need to know more about that, but let's say you didn't file it at all. If your son is over 21, it really depends on what country you are from. And then, are you a US citizen? Are you a permanent resident? So it depends. Mike Jimenez, Español. Sí, señor. Okay, let's see. I've been almost 3 years and I have had an interview with the immigration. Melissa, okay, what kind of interview? What has it been 3 years since? Since filing, since the interview, what kind of application? Give me more information so I can help you. Arwa, I need to know if it's an RFE or notice of continuance, okay? And you putting the same message over and over, it's not doing anything. Abdur, can I travel safely with the combo card? I have another asylum application. That is not a decision that I can make for you right now to properly advise you on that, because it really depends on the entire history, your entire immigration history. Some people, I beg them to travel because they need to. Some people, I tell them, don't you dare, don't think about it. I do not know if it's safe for you to travel. If you have an asylum application pending, you should definitely not go back to your country if you need to travel. That's for sure. On the other hand, you might not want to leave at all. Okay, so it really depends. If you have an asylum application pending, talk to your immigration attorney, and they are your immigration lawyer, guys, is the one who can advise you the best on your own situation. I have yet to see 2 cases that are identical, okay? And I've been doing this a very long time. So please talk to your immigration attorney. You don't have one. I would have to review your entire immigration history in order to give you proper advice, okay? How long after submitting the removal of condition you get the extension letter? Did you file a waiver removal of condition, or did you file a joint removal of conditions? We have seen some receipts with extension, and the extension right now it's 4 years. We have seen some receipts come after 90 days, 120 days, okay? So let's see. All right, let's see. All right. With the premium in H1B, does the H4 and H4 EAD get processed together? It depends. Is your spouse even eligible for the H4 EAD? Do you have already an I-140 approved? How far are you on your H1B? H4s right now, unless you have an I-140 approved, it's just not going to happen. Okay. Let's see. All right, I skipped a bunch, so give me a second. I want to address them in order, guys, okay? With the premium processing, I addressed that one. Okay. When USCIS send RFE for medical, do I still go for interviews? Generally speaking, what we have seen lately is they want all the medicals, and then you could still be called for an interview, but we have had quite a few of them approved without. Okay. They will consider you for waiving the interview, but not all the time. Okay, so you, King Khan, you filed a 130. For whom? Okay, what is your immigration status? What is their immigration status? Okay, so I need more. You applied from US to bring brother from Pakistan. Okay, and it's been 14 years, so it's gonna take probably another 2 to even start applying, minimum 2, and then it's another 2 years to process after that. So at least 4 years. Okay. Mokhtar, I-90. What about an I-90? I-90 doesn't tell me anything. Tell me what your question is. Can U.S. citizens sponsor a second spouse within 3 years of marrying and sponsoring the first and divorcing the first spouse? Theoretically, yes, but it's going, Alyssa, yes, but you would have to, it's a higher burden. You have to show a lot more that the first marriage was indeed a good faith marriage, and then the second marriage is also a good faith marriage. Okay, don't take that lightly. You are going to be considered a serial filer. Sorry, guys. How long can you take to hear from them after a house visit? Oh boy, they did a house visit, so they are suspecting marriage fraud. That is an issue. Okay. If they were at your house and they requested documents from you after, or they called you for an interview, who did they talk to when they came by the house? If you know, did they talk to any of your neighbors? They make mistakes, guys. Okay, they make mistakes. Let me give you an example. They talk to people who have no knowledge about you, who are going to say, I've never seen that spouse. I've never seen that person. Meanwhile, your spouse could be working nighttime. They don't know anything about you. They don't see them around because they're not always in their front yard. Meanwhile, you guys live together and have 3 kids. Okay, it's ridiculous. We have people who, we are close to Miami, right? So many live in condos, and they'll talk to the doorman or they'll talk to the valet. And these people have private parking. They don't even go through the valet. They go straight to their apartment. They don't even go through the lobby. They never met the doorman, and they lived there for 3 years. So it depends on who they are talking to. We have instances when they were going to talk to, we had instances where they were talking to the realtor who rented them the place. I'm like, my husband rented the place for us doesn't mean I'm not married to the man. It's ridiculous, the questions that they're asking and how they are going through that. So Ms. Hutchins, okay, if that happened and you don't have a lawyer, now is the time to lawyer up. And they could take time. They could take a year, they could take 2 years, they could take 3 years after that. Can a friend file an affidavit to come from outside the US? Sure, yes, they can. Melissa, I've been married for 3 years and have no interview. And we've got but I don't see the rest of your message. So you said you had no interview, been married 3 years. How long ago have you filed? Have you actually filed 3 years ago? It shouldn't be taking that long. Also, is your spouse a US citizen or is your spouse a permanent resident? Okay. I filed an I-130 10 months ago. Guy, I'm not going to remember 10 messages ahead. Okay, you either put me the whole message or I can't help you. Give me the whole spiel. King Khan, I filed an I-130 10 months. How long it will take? I don't know. What's your immigration status? Who are you filing for and from what country? Maybe I can give you all the answers, okay? And I'll be happy to. I can't wait to give you all the answers. But help me out, okay? How long does it take for adjustment of status? Just found a few weeks ago. What did you find a few weeks ago? You mean you filed it a few weeks ago? Adjustment of status depends on where you live and how fast your local field office is moving. And your local field office could be moving really fast, and you may not have to have an interview. It could be 6 months, 3 months. And some of them are very, very slow, into the 5 to 6 years to be called for an interview. So it really depends where you are. It depends on your case. It depends on many of those things. All right. All right. Let's see what else we got. All of a sudden, I got a bunch. Jeez. Okay. I have an interview for N400 and 751, but N400 was canceled during the interview, and RFE was submitted. Okay, so did you file a 751 jointly with your spouse? Did you file the N400 and 751, and why did they cancel the N400 during the interview? Just because they submit a request for evidence doesn't mean the N400 was canceled. It just could mean that until they make a decision on your 751, they are not going to make a decision on your N400. Okay, so Zeta, please tell us more. Okay, it looks like you've done the right thing. Tell me what the RFE wants. Okay, tell me what's going on, and let's see if we can help you. Okay, so it's 14 years. Yeah, you got at least 4 more years to wait. Is it possible to get a 10-year green card for a marriage-based green card with a marriage less than 2 years? It depends on when they are going to approve your green card. If they are going to approve it after your 2nd anniversary, then yes, it's going to be a 10-year green card. Receipt for 730 is invalid. How long would the 730 take? I don't know. I haven't looked at that in a while. I wish I could answer your question. I really don't know that one. Can I file the I-140 while I'm waiting for the prevailing wage? Absolutely not. You need to wait for the prevailing wage, and then you need to do the perm. So prevailing wage takes a year. Perm may take an entire other year. So nope, you need to wait, and it goes on online, okay? One after another. Okay. I skipped some, so let's see. It was IR2 visa, and it was expedited because I'm turning 18, and we submitted all the documents in December. That makes sense, Mon. Okay. You have to wait 60 days. After 60 days, I'm assuming your expedite request was sent to the National Visa Center. For children who are aging out, generally speaking, they are accepting the expedite. This is the way expedite works. When you are submitting a request for expedite, okay, they are going to first decide, are we going to expedite this or not? So that's the first decision. Once they make a decision on that, then they have to decide, okay, if we are expedited, are we approving or are we denying? So just because you're expediting doesn't mean they're going to approve the actual petition after that. If the child is aging out, okay, but 18 and 21 is different, make sure you know your exact category, country, and all that. If it's IR2, it doesn't matter that you're 18 because it goes by the age of 21. And depending on your particular circumstances, so if your particular case, if you are subject to the CSPA, then they're not going to expedite. They're just going to wait. Okay, so what's the reason my I-131 for adjustment CR1 is delayed past 1 year in New Jersey? I-131s are taking a long time right now, okay? So I-131, it's the travel permit. I'm not sure that's what you're asking because you're saying adjustment of status. So yeah, I-131s take forever. And if New Jersey is going to call you for an interview, they are taking about 2.5 years, okay? I-130, how long from US? Brother applied for brother and his family. Minimum 16 years. How long does VAWA take to give you the work permit? 9 months to 12 months after the receipt. Yes, I already answered that one. I get my Social Security and my work permit through VAWA in August. Do you know what the next step? Yes, you wait. So you go work, you do what you need to do, you make sure you extend your prima facie determination every single time it expires, and then you should wait. Next thing is going to be the 360 that's going to have to be approved, okay? So you need to wait for that. Okay, I can only answer a few more questions, so let's see, and then I have to go. Oh boy, I skipped a bunch. They requested my divorce from over 10 years back in my countries because they couldn't find it. It's not their job to find it. It is your job to produce it. You should have produced your divorce from 10 years ago before you even filed. So now, if you have an RFE, you only have 80 something days to do it, 87 days. So you need to get that as soon as possible. Without that, they might deny the application. Can my parents travel to Mexico with a 512 advance parole? It depends. It's possible. I cannot give you advice whether they should travel or not, because it's very fact specific on your case. Like I was telling the other person a couple of minutes ago, some people I'm really begging them to leave and go and travel, and some I have to beg them not to go. It really depends. Every case is different. So if you're just saying that you're the citizen, you sponsored your parents, and they are not with an asylum pending, and they don't have any issues, no removal order, no pending removal case, no pending deportation, nothing, and it's squeaky clean 100%, then yes, they can travel. This is not legal advice, okay? I-130 for Pakistan takes 18 years. It depends. I-130 alone doesn't take 18 years. The process could take 18 years. And it could take 18 years depending on the category under which you're sponsoring someone, and then the visa bulletin. If you're sponsoring a brother or a sister, just about 18 years. They say it's 14 online plus the processing times. I don't know anything about the Afghan P2. I'm sorry. I got my green card last year. My husband became citizen last year. Can I apply for citizenship? No, you need to wait minimum 2 years and 9 months. If your spouse just became a citizen, then no, they are not eligible. You're not eligible for the 3-year citizenship. They need to have been a citizen for at least 3 years in order for you to take advantage of that. Do you have to report traffic tickets on the N400? Yes, you do, as long as the fine that you paid for the traffic ticket was over $500. If it was under $500, no. U.S. citizens, I-130 approved in January of last year. NVC approved, you mean documentarily qualified, May of 2023. 8 months now waiting for an interview in Islamabad. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do, you only started to be online and waiting for an interview at the time you became documentarily qualified. And in your case, that is May of 2023. And I go through this every single live. When you are waiting in line, there are plenty of people ahead of you. And it really depends on the consulate and their staffing issues and their priorities. So on a specific month, they could say, I can only schedule 30 interviews for this particular category. And then NVC is going to go down the list and say first 30 people. Other months, it could be 3,000. Who knows, right? Now, Islamabad and quite a few of the other consulates, they have not processed visas for about 2 years. So there are plenty of people ahead of you. There is not much you can do to expedite. So yeah, that's why it's taking that long. 8 months is actually not even bad in Islamabad, okay? Oops, let me see, I missed somebody. If I overstayed, is it okay to re-enter with my advance parole to USA? Well, if you overstayed, are you in the US or are you abroad? If you overstayed, you're talking about re-entry. So I'm assuming you left. If you left, you don't get advance parole. So something in your question doesn't make sense. You're doing too much research online, but you don't know what you're reading. I'd like to help you, but the facts don't make sense. I expedited, denied twice. Yes, because there are people who they try to expedite because they have no patience, and they don't just take anyone to expedite. There are people with terminal cancer, or the wife is giving birth and they are the spouse of US citizen, and they still get denied to expedite. You need to have a valid reason. For example, the law no longer will apply to you in 3 months, like the person a few minutes ago, where the child may be aging out. However, the child is not aging out at the age of 18, they're aging out at the age of 21, so that could be a mistake right there. Okay, so if you are in the United States, then the fact that you overstayed, okay, and you want to apply for advanced parole, are you applying for advanced parole through TPS, through DACA, or you are applying from adjustment of status advanced parole? It depends, right? All right. How long does it take birth of US citizen and non-citizen nationals abroad? I don't understand the question. Why security clearance after 485 interview in marriage base? It depends on where you're from. It depends on what your history says. It depends on if there is an alert on your name or someone with your name. It may not be you, okay? And they need to make sure that you are in the clear. So sometimes the background checks do take forever, and sometimes they don't have that at the time of the interview, and they are going to get those results later on. So you just wait. I already got advanced parole with VAWA. Okay, so Blue Bobby, so you got advanced parole with VAWA. How did you enter the country? How long were you here before that? And where do you intend to travel? Did you at any time file for asylum before? So all those things are making a difference. You guys think, do you know how many times I get? But I only have one question for you. Before I answer that, but it's a simple question. You answer this question all the time. Guys, for me to answer what you think it's a simple question and to actually give you proper advice, I need to ask you a ton of very important questions to which some of you don't even know the answers. So it's never a simple question, ever. So I want to give you the right advice, but you need to give me more information. I am not going to address the 730 because, as I said, I do not know enough about it. I had DACA and my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. Can I apply for advanced parole? Yes, you should, but it also depends. You can apply and it may or may not be granted, but let's assume is it granted, your next decision is going to be, should I travel or should I not travel? Did you ever apply for asylum? Did you ever have a removal order? Were you ever in removal proceedings? Do you have a criminal record? Just you have advanced parole means only one thing. If you are coming back, we are going to put you back in the same status you were in. There is no guarantee that you are going to be allowed back in the country, period. And that's what people don't understand. I have an advanced parole. Oh, they're going to let me back in. Not so fast. How long to sponsor parents or siblings from Afghanistan? Parents, they could be here in 1.5 years. Siblings in about 16 to 18 years. All right. So I think I addressed most of the questions. If I skipped some, we'll talk to you again on, we'll talk to you guys again in, I don't know, Tuesday, I think I'm coming back online. All right. All right, cool. Good to see you guys. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Our link is in the bio, and our number, if you want to call and book a strategy session, is 954-466-0070. And if you have a lawyer, contact your lawyer. They already know your entire history. If you don't, then we need to look at your entire history in order to answer that one little question. Okay? Bye, guys.